Hi, we're going to talk about how to save your relationship. Now, this is actually our second video on this topic. There's another video if you go back to my channel, or even maybe just check out the link, why we fight over the little things and what you can do to prevent them. And so today we're going to talk about how to validate your significant other. Now, you may be wondering, what? That's going to help save my marriage? That's going to help win my boyfriend back? Right? You're probably like, what does that have to do with what's going on in our situation? Because we're fighting all the time. And what does validating one another, what does that have to do with any of this? Well, if you think about it, it has to do with everything. And I would say everything in this world. Think of it this way. The reason why it is so important for you to learn how to validate the significant other in your life is this. Wouldn't you say we live in a world, and maybe the person you're with feels like they live in a world where they are constantly invalidated, where they're constantly having to fight to be right. They're constantly having to defend themselves and to prove that they belong. Maybe some people, maybe the person that you are with, has felt this for a long time. If you are like me and a lot of Asian Americans, and this is not just, it doesn't mean only Asian Americans struggle with this, but a lot of times for us Asian Americans, we really identify with this because growing up, we never felt like we could be good enough. We were constantly trying to prove that we could be good enough. And the moment we felt like we could be good enough, a lot of times we felt like our parents treated us, reacted to our grades, reacted to our achievements as if, that's the norm. What do you expect? There's always someone better than you. And so for a lot of us, we grew up in a situation where you never felt validated. So because we live in a world where you're constantly invalidated, wouldn't it be great if the person that you're with, or maybe even for you, you felt like there was a place where someone appreciated you, where someone took you seriously, where someone was able to acknowledge and see all the great things that you do, from the little things to the big things. Think of it this way. Maybe you had a teacher, right, or a coach, or there was someone in your life that was really encouraging. And one of the things that drew you to this person, and one of the reasons why you look back fondly on this person, is because they validated you. They validated your feelings. They validated your efforts. They validated your disappointments. They made you feel like you mattered, and the feelings that you had were important. And so how much more would your marriage be, your relationship be, if the two of you understood and were willing to be that person to each other? And so I'm going to share with you three ways to validate the significant other, your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, and again, this could be true for anyone. But here's three things that you can do. Number one, practice being in the moment with the other person. When the other person comes home and they start telling you about their day, be in that moment with them. If they talk about how stressful work was, or how annoying the staff meeting was, or or how bad traffic was. Be in that moment. And how you can be in that moment is ask questions. Be curious. Join in their emotions, right? Oh man, traffic was horrible. It's like I was in the carpool lane, and this guy doesn't even have the carpool sticker, or didn't have other people in the car, was in my lane and driving like a grandma. Just join them, right? Be like, yeah, that's horrible. That's so annoying when that happens. And when you see them say, yeah, that means they feel that you are connecting with them and they're feeling validated in that moment. Another way to look at it is when someone comes home and tells you about their day and how stressful it was or how great it was, they're doing what you call bidding. They're bidding for your attention. They're wanting to have you connected to their moment and their situation. And so there's a couple of ways that you can be in the moment. Ask questions that ask questions that revolve around the five senses. Now, obviously, be dynamic, okay? Don't just go down the list. How, what did it feel like? What did it smell like? What did it taste like? What did, like just not like that. But if someone's like, I had the best lunch, then one of the senses that you can ask about is, really, what was so good about that? What did it taste like? Wow, that's really good. Now, you don't have to be like condescending. But I would say if you've never done this with your significant other and you're gonna do this, it's gonna be awkward at first, but the more and more you do this, the more and more it'll become more natural. And here's the best part: the more and more the both of you will enjoy that conversation. And so, ask, so it was really hot today. Oh yeah, like, I don't know how to, be in the moment. Someone's like, yeah, or you could share it like, oh, me too. I was really hot. On hot days like this, I could just go to the beach. You want to go to the beach? Let's go to the beach, right? And by doing that, you're validating what they're feeling, right? Now, you can be over the top, like, you know what, let's quit our jobs and go move to Hawaii since it's so hot right now. But then that might be borderline condescending. But, at least you're in the moment with them. So think of the, senses and ask about what they felt, what they saw, how did it make them feel, what did it taste like, what did it smell, what did you hear? Just do those things. And they will feel validated because what they're feeling, what they saw, is important to somebody. And wouldn't you rather be the person that they want to tell what happened instead of going to someone else? Don't you want to be that person? And don't you want to be the person that celebrates with them? Don't you also want to be that person that holds them when they're feeling discouraged? Don't you want to be that person that nurtures them? And the first thing you can do is be in the moment. I did not understand this early in our marriage, and I still sometimes don't understand this. So when we first got married, my wife and I got married, and this is like 15 years ago. She would come home and tell me about her day, and I just thought, okay, and mind you, up until this point I was living by myself, and so I would go see friends and hang out, and most of my guy friends, we just go play basketball, right? We didn't do that much talking. So with my wife, she comes home, tells me about her day, and I did this, I think, I did this a lot. So she's telling me about her day, and I'm just like, well, I don't know what to say, and so I just won't say anything. And so one day she's like, you know what? Can you grunt? Or aren't you listening? I'm like, I am listening. And I would regurgitate everything she just told me. And she's like, well, can you just acknowledge my existence when I'm talking? And so so then that's when I realized it's important to her to feel like I'm in the moment with her when she's telling me her day. And that's how she feels validated. So a couple times I probably overdid it. She'd come home and she goes, wow, today I ate this, egg sandwich, and it just tasted horrible. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it tasted horrible. Oh my gosh. Oh, I feel so horrible for you, right? And obviously, that was a little too much. And so I was like, oh yeah, me too. And so she appreciates that. There's some side tricks. What you could do is, like, if you're, on your phone. Back then, I was reading my newspaper. I don't know, whatever it was. So you drop it, you turn to them, and you say, oh yeah, and that's validating their presence, right? And so that's one way to validate them. And what I would encourage you to do is every day find 3 people to be in the moment with. So if you have a coworker, try this with your boss, right? That's the easiest person to do it with. If you have kids, this is obviously, you should always do this with your kids, but this is another person that you can practice on, because they won't judge you on how they listen. When I say kids, I mean, like, I don't know, anyone under like, I don't know, 12 maybe, or 10. My oldest, who is 12, sometimes I'm like actively listening, and she's like, why are you listening to me so much? This is awkward. I'm like, okay. So she likes it when I don't listen, which doesn't make sense. But anyways, that's a different topic from parent to adolescent child. Acknowledge the little things. So if your husband's washing dishes, just say, hey, I know it's your turn to wash the dishes, but I really appreciate you washing the dishes. It really makes a difference for me. It really helps me to just, relax. Thanks for just being on top of it. Or, I just really, I see the way you change the diaper, and I could see how careful you are, and you're really good about throwing things away, because it's easy for me to forget. So notice the little things, and trust me, again, it will come off a little awkward at first. They'll be like, changing a diaper, like, okay, so I changed the diapers, what about it? But again, just acknowledge it. And so I would encourage you to do this. Find 3 things every day, and this requires some observation. But look at your spouse, or look at your boyfriend or girlfriend, and just acknowledge the little things that are truthful, okay? Don't make it up, right? And if you have to make it up, well, then that's maybe you have to sometimes, but there's always something that you can acknowledge that is good, of course. And don't be passive aggressive about it either. Like, wow, that boat you brought home without telling me that you were gonna buy a boat is really big. Whoa, right? Any of us who are passive aggressive. So if it's a sensitive topic, then don't acknowledge that thing. All right. Don't be like, oh, I really like that boat that you brought home. It's really nice. It's moldy and rusty. I love it, right? But instead, if your husband or your wife goes out to buy something because something was missing, say thank you. Hey, thank you for getting it right away. You didn't have to. And of course, don't do it to feel like, don't say these things so they will reciprocate it right away, right? But say it so little by little, so after a while, that person will know you notice them. I don't want to be dramatic, but a lot of times couples struggle in their marriage or in their relationship because the one person that they want to notice them stops noticing them. And in some ways, they feel betrayed because at one point when you were chasing them or when you were together and having fun, you notice everything about them. Like, wow, I love the way your hair just floats in the air when you flick your hair, right? Or wow, you have such a nice car. And then you're married and you're just like, this person never notices me, right? They don't comment on my looks anymore. They don't say how smart or how artistic I am anymore. Then I personally believe we are created, and we desperately crave. That's one of the things that I think if the food chart, and if there's an emotional chart is to be acknowledged and to be noticed. And so I think a lot of times couples struggle because they take that for granted. And sometimes they get on it when it's too late because someone else has stolen your wife's heart, or someone else has stolen your boyfriend's heart or your husband's heart because someone else noticed them. And so you want to be that person that notices them, that makes them feel good about themselves. And so notice the little things and acknowledge the little things. Hey, I know you've been working out. You're looking hot. I don't know if you want to joke around like that. Or I don't know if that's how you say it. Like, don't copy me. You look hot, with that face, right? But yeah, notice the little things. Number 3, acknowledge the big things. And I think it takes certain moments. Just don't drop a bomb on them. They're like brushing their teeth, and you go up to them, hey, I really appreciate how you're taking the mental load with the schoolwork. Like, huh? Right? Maybe when you go out on a date night, or maybe when you're about to go to sleep, there's this surprisingly, one of the things that I sort of picked up from watching this old FX TV series called The Americans, if you remember that movie or show. There's a couple who are Russian spies, and I forgot the actor's name, but the actress's name is I just remember her in Felicity. I don't remember her name, but anyways, so it shows that when they go to sleep, they kind of just lay on each of their pillows, but they face each other, and they just kind of like they just kind of look into each other and just talk about their day or acknowledge the feelings that they have, and they affirm each other. And so I think those are some great moments where you can acknowledge them and validate the big things that they do for you and your family, or just acknowledge the sacrifices they've made. And a lot of times your husband or your wife or your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, loves to do those things for you without any questions. They don't need acknowledgement, but to know to be noticed by you, and to know that you appreciate it just makes them feel more connected, more valued, and it makes them feel like it's worth it. The worst feeling, wouldn't you say you have this feeling, that you ever had this feeling when you're at work, you made a huge sacrifice or you made a big decision that was helpful to the company and no one acknowledged you, right? That feeling? Well, think of how your spouse may feel. They've made big decisions. They've done big things for you and the family. They've moved different places for you. And they did that for you. And so go ahead and I would say acknowledge them. Take those times to acknowledge the big things in their life. Hey, I know you could have gotten a big promotion, but instead you didn't take it because you knew it would force our family to move. Or hey, thank you for coming on this trip. I know you can't stand my parents because they keep calling you by my ex-boyfriend's name, who's much taller, much better looking, and it drives you nuts, but you came anyways. Thank you for coming. I'm so glad you came. So do that. So if you want to take some steps on saving your relationship, saving your marriage, validate them with these 3 things, and you'll see the difference. Validate them by being in the moment with the conversation, validate them with the little things, validate them with the big things. Try it and let me know how it goes. And if you need help, come talk to me, reach out to me. My website's right here, my email's right there. And let me know if you need help or you just don't know how to do it because you never had a model, then reach out to me and we can talk more through it.